today, and I got a very nice interview with the guys from FoxD. Welcome to the show. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey, yeah, I'm Steve. I'm also known as Prez as the FoxDNetwork community leader. But today I am Steve B, the content manager, and a lot of other aspects for Foxy Network.
Yeah, because FoxD is a very interesting group and also very interesting platform because you have like your own shows on there, but also you're basically creating a platform for people to put their shows on, right?
Correct. Initially, when we started Foxy Network, we did interviews just like this, and we have about 10 or 15 of them that are on the webcast that you can watch.
Well, that's a lot. I know you personally from Party Full of Fools, which is a really cool game show, and that was a really cool interview that we did, which is actually on Foxy, which is over here that we did.
Yep.
That was
That's on the foxy.castify.dev platform, and we did get that uploaded, and I made sure that it was number one on the list. So if we did have this interview today, that you'd see it first.
wow, that's really cool. Welcome everybody to a very. I really enjoyed that interview, and everybody, if you're not familiar with Party Full of Fools, you should definitely check it out because you can win amazing prizes. It's actually kind of the thing that we used to do before. We also gave away prizes during shows, but you made it really into a show in itself, right?
Correct. I made it into about an hour and a half game show, and I'm so glad that you bring it up because I haven't actually done a game show in about a little over a month. And what happened is I did have it backed up, but our crypto host website totally is gone. So since that disappeared, I did have an older backup of the game show, but I'm actually going in through the JavaScript and the CSS and changing the colors so it doesn't have the big yellow thing anymore. And it will say FoxD Coin or Foxy Network, things like that.
I think you're doing amazing work, and I really like the game show. I actually found it through my love for Digibyte, but then you mentioned FoxDNetwork, and that sounded also very familiar because it's not only a platform, but there's also a coin connected to it, right?
Correct. And I do also have a deep love for Digibyte. It's one of the OG coins that I traded early, like probably like 5 years ago. That was a big bang boomer that made me quite a bit of like capital at the time. So even though I made a lot, you hodl and you're like, oh no, I wish I would have sold. But some of it I did, but I did keep a lot of Digibyte specifically because I appreciated the project enough to like hold it and want to give it away on the game show indefinitely. So I don't believe I will ever take Digibyte off of the game show ever.
No, and I keep stacking Digibyte because it's like one of those very few truly decentralized coins, and it's super fast and efficient. And I just like the ethos, just like with Bitcoin. But can you tell us a little bit about Foxy Network, where it came from, where you want to take it, and also how the coin sort of fits into the network?
Originally for Foxy Coin, I was in another project when Foxy Coin started. I get questioned a lot, hey, how come you didn't start Foxy Network on Ravencoin? And the truth is I've heard of Ravencoin long before I was in Foxy, but I started Foxy without having any Ravencoin or even knowing what an NFT was. So as the leader, I learned along with the community, and then a project manager named Joe, who's probably going to show up, I think, but he joined me on a TV platform adventure where he started on Roku, and as a Roku developer, he brought me on, and then I became a Roku developer. So with him, we took FoxD, the coin, which was there was no markets for it except for like nothing really. But we kind of put it on markets, and we started bringing the coin into the TV side. And since then, we learned more about IPFS, and we learned more about NFTs and minting and how the IPFS could go into the NFT and they could become one. And with all of that going on, we pretty much built and built and built. And it's been over a year and a half that me and him have been building together both of these images of the Foxy Network and what was he started off as a live coin, but learned that this was a more decentralized, better approach. So systematically and synergetically, everything kind of worked out more so than we could have imagined, with the broadcasting rights, the NFTs, and IPFS coming together as one big project.
Yeah, because you can also sort of NFT your shows on FoxD, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, exactly. So if it's an IPFS as like an NFT on FoxDCoin, let's say that FoxDCoin network has a lot of nodes on it that are all broadcasting this NFT, but that NFT is the IPFS. So you get better broadcast because it's an NFT in different wallets. So there's points where the blockchain can drive the IPFS to its own degrees based on development that we've even seen done on both Ravencoin and FoxDCoin.
So that's really innovative. And how does the FoxDCoin sort of, how is it part of that total system? Where does it sort of fit in? Do you get paid per views, or how does that work?
Essentially, right now, how it works is when you create an NFT, you can make a main asset just like you could on Ravencoin. You make a main asset and then a sub asset or a unique asset. But when you make an asset, there's a spot for IPFS tag. So you have your IPFS, you put it in the tag, you create the transaction. It's timestamped on the blockchain and it says, this is when it was made and this is the image of it. But just because it's the image of it, when you actually click the IPFS link, that's like the total, like you could have an 8K image, but you're only seeing a thumbnail. So like the actual IPFS link is the data that the NFT represents. And then if you made the NFT, that genuinely says that you made it at that time on that chain, and it shows it in IPFS.
So you have complete ownership, and you can also sort of claim it and use it. You got all the rights, and you get also all the earnings, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a little development that we need to get NFTs onto like a marketplace or something. But our general primary focus, number one, is just making money as FoxDNetwork as a company. And the coin is great and everything. We love the coin. We also love money. So
yeah, you need money to survive, right? And how is the FoxDNetwork growing? Is it sort of, do you recognize that there's like still demand, even though there's like a bear market, or is it like sort of constant, or is it growing?
FoxDNetwork, separate to the coin, is growing tremendously. It's doing extremely well. I couldn't ask for more, especially from the management with Joe on FoxDNetwork as the CEO, is pulling a lot of strings in the background. And we have Heath Douglas, who does the interviews, but he's also the CMO of FoxDNetwork. And he goes and brings on all these sports leagues. So behind the scenes, there's been a whole company basically doing something. And then on the other side, there's been a coin that, you know, it's been the inspiration more so to FoxDNetwork, where we were inspired to start with that coin and then build a project based on the name of it all from scratch.
And talking about the name, why did you pick FoxD? What is the reason for the name?
That's a good question. It's so decentralized, the coin is, that I didn't have any say in the name. And I joined the project and took on leadership knowing the name was FoxD, and there's nothing I could ever do about that.
But are you happy with the name, or that sounds kind of like you had something else in mind?
Well, honestly, it wasn't the most attractive name for me when it was brought to me, and I was like, but a lot of people do like it. And in time, it wasn't about me liking it then. It was about me building the brand that it is today with the team. So whether I like the name or not, it's, do I like it today? And yes, because it represents all the work that we've put in. If you go to foxd.network, if you go to foxd.castify.dev, or the metaverse we made, or a Discord, social media, etc., the very important part that I want to touch on is that the FoxDNetwork is trademarked, and it just got totally trademarked just a few days ago.
Wow. Well, that's a big deal, right? That's congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
I do like foxes, so and you know, foxes are quite sort of decentralized in their appetites and interests, so it sort of makes sense, right?
Yeah, it gives us an opportunity to create either like a franchise or protect our logo or brand if another, let's say, US entity was trying to represent themselves as a media network that was trying to show sports under the crypto So another thing is that, yeah, Fox, if you know, is probably another media company you could have heard of. But if you look deeply into it, it's actually 21st Century Fox. It's not Fox. It's 2-1 CENTRY, and then Fox is like way at the end. Our trademark is Fox D, period. That's it. And it's just those the name, the logo. So it's I know I keep bringing it up, but it is very important because we've passed through the US that says that that's okay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, because that was the first thing that I thought of when I heard your name. And then I thought, okay, wait, this is something completely else, something different. So it's something to keep in mind when you're, getting involved. So, but FoxD is, of course, a very centralized media. And this is like completely the opposite. It's like decentralized and free and open and free for everybody, right?
100%, yes.
And is there like specific areas that you want to focus with FoxD, or is it like whatever comes on the platform, or is it more like for gaming, or do you have like certain specific areas that you focus on?
Right now, our primary ones are FoxD channel itself that has its own content, but we focus on gaming, finance, and sports, and those three are probably our top categories.
Do you also focus on soccer?
Oh yeah, the MLIS for sure. If you go to the FoxD.network page, like that you're on, if you go to the homepage on there, we just added the MLIS channel to the homepage and to theirs and to a bunch of other different homepages. And last night alone, that got over 700 views, like almost right away, like right when it went live. So
wow, okay, wow. So that's really positive. And is there something where you want to take FoxD in the future, or?
The team, as far as like me and Joe and Heath and Austin, which is one of our devs, we also have a PHP dev that just came on board with us a few days ago. We want to take this and make it the biggest global IPFS distribution system network, and we want to deal with a lot of like commercial advertisement concepts, perhaps, where maybe we'll get into ad distribution or CID ads, where we can feed in and make money through different realms that we never even thought of, or compete against people that never thought we would be competing against them.
So is there any competition out there that you sort of, that are fishing in the same pool?
There is, but when we go to IPFS, that's like looking at a bunch of people spending too much money on the back burner. IPFS is like, through the technology, it's going to make the cost more spread out overall versus just like one source paying for everything. So depending on the network infrastructures that we create in the future could determine how much money we could save other companies that we could bring to the table, or save ourselves in the long run while running maybe like 30 or 40 channels while trying to make revenue to make the broadcast bigger.
So, wow. So basically you got really big plans and there's a lot of interest, I gather. What excites you the most about the project that you built? Or actually, I should say projects, right? Because you're in many different projects.
I am in a ton of projects. I guess the future parts that excite me the most is hearing on these team meetings that everything that we are doing is working. And that is just kind of in itself really good, because we've built such a foundation that little wins are huge for us in every capacity, and like what we can get. From the coin side, for an example, a small win for me would be I know I'm not answering your question totally, but the answer really is small wins all the way. Like, we want small wins. We don't necessarily, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have somebody on the coin team now that's helping me set somebody else's wallet up while I'm working on something and it's not distracting me, that's a huge win for me. So team growing is going to be a huge thing for us, as far as like when we get more revenue and we get better revenue streams set up in about a month, we'll definitely have like more availability to grow our team to pretty much blow up. Like, really big, so we are definitely driving that way. And to answer your questions, little wins and team growth, development, and just constant communication. So what we're really working on.
Yeah, it sounds very familiar. That's also, sort of our strategy. You just keep building, and then sort of you hit a point, and then you make a huge jump, and then it's building. But yeah, all the small wins, right? They eventually build up to these giant leaps that you can make.
Right, it's support at the end. Every little win is like kind of like a little piece of wood holding your house up. And you could take a big loss, but if you have all these little wins surrounding you, that's what decentralization basically amounts to, which is what we want the most. Ideally, if I fell off the planet or something, the project will still work, and that's what we want. I don't want to own a trademark and be greedy with it. I want everybody to use it, but I want them to use it in good faith. So in that case, people that want to use our logo and like promote us on the internet or social media are more than welcome to in good faith. Like, we totally want that.
And do you feel there's like any pushback from centralized media, or are you not on their radar, or how does that work?
There's no pushback at all. It's kind of like one of those things where centralized is so into itself that they're in their own echo chamber. They're like, what's Bitcoin? Oh, didn't that just all collapse to zero? Isn't that $0 now? And that's what they're thinking. And what we're thinking is, no, it's not $0, but we're just moving, like doing our own thing. That's a disguise to us. Like, oh, the market's tanking. Like, like, we personally are not looking at the market every single day. Like I said in our last interview, we're building in the bear market, like you keep hearing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is basically like a Trojan horse, right? You're building on the future, and they're not noticing the future because it's low in price, and they think it's irrelevant, as the ECB says. But you're building the infrastructure on top of it. So that is super cool. So what is your sort of take on the market, and also sort of how does it feedback in your whole program or your platform, or does it have any effect at all? Is there something like a back and forth between those two things?
A little bit. I mean, if we want to, cut the ice and say that there was a FTX thing that happened, and then there were a bunch of people that didn't really benefit positively from that. We weren't really in that category personally, me personally, especially not. When I heard about all of that and saw the market kind of going up and down, we were kind of on the low end of the radar, even in the crypto sphere, where the tanking of the market didn't really affect our price that much, because our price has almost been the same as FoxDNetwork for almost 2 years. So it's like, but when you see like that big mountain go like that, and you just kind of see your coin go like this, you're like, well, at least we weren't on the wrong exchange, or we're pretty much doing everything right, because we don't want to be dependent of Bitcoin or whatever the other price is. So I think we're doing really well as far as that, and not being in the fires of all of these crazy schemes and bad happenings. So
what is your take on all the drama that's going on? Is it, does it all pass you by, or do you have an opinion, or what does it do with you?
I'm kind of in my own tunnel the last few months myself, so like drama's kind of over my head, and I personally try to stay out of it. And it's like, I know the whole Elon bought Twitter thing was just like, now you see nothing but Elon on Twitter or whatever, but that's about as drama as it gets to me. I just watched that. So what about you? What's been the dramas that you've been kind of coming up with as far as doing interviews?
Oh, we're in the middle of it, right? I mean, it's basically our content. So actually, we try to take a few steps back with those, especially with FTX, because it was only FTX this, FTX that. But it's kind of hard to go around it when it's so in the center of the news. And now, like you said, with Elon Musk, so yeah, these kind of things really affect the content that you try to make when you inform people. So yeah. And it's especially FTX is really disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect?
Huh?
Did you expect less? Like,
No.
I mean, they're like, oh, they're like 20-year-olds in the Bahamas. Like, what did you expect?
Yeah, I totally not understand why people, why there weren't enough alarm bells going off in people's heads with FTX, right? I mean, it looked really nice on the outside, but the better it looks on the outside, often the worse it is on the inside, right?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of the times because they spend so much money making it look good on the outside, and then there's nothing going on the inside.
Yeah. So I really hope that people quickly forget FTX and move on, like what happened with Mt. Gox. Well, yeah, actually, Mt. Gox lingered for a long time, but so let's hope it's not like Mt. Gox, but that we can.
Yeah, were you in the space during Cryptopia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that one? That was a bad one. Cryptopia was one of the first ones I was like even knew existed, and it totally crashed down. It was a big fire.
Yeah, or Quadricex, right? I mean, all these sort of fireballs, they go up in flames, right? And they take everything along with them. So yeah, I really hope that the sort of news moves on, but people are already forgetting it. Elon Musk is taking the limelight and digging up dirt.
He'll just tweet Dogecoin again, and it'll go a couple cents up, and everyone will party. So it'll be good.
Yeah, you're not giving away Dogecoin?
Not anymore. I did in the past, and then that was an OG. Because there's no finite supply, and because the other coins all hit 21 billion, I just took it off. I was like, So,
yeah. Well, I still got some doggy coins. You never know. I trust Elon's hunger for empire building. So, but yeah, it's pure speculation, of course, on my part. Maybe they go to zero eventually. I don't know. And maybe I should load up on some FoxD coins instead, if I hear it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a bunch of different exchanges now. Most of them are community. We did get on Dextrade, which doesn't have as much volume as any of our community exchanges.
And do you have like any ambition to go on, different exchanges? Like, I mean, do you want to go on Coinbase or on Kraken or, Binance or?
In the long run, I mean, I would love to say, yeah, let's throw our coin on Coinbase, take us Coinbase. However, like with a reality mindset, the most that we could do to ever be on those platforms is not screw up our chain now, and then just kind of let it do its thing. I'm not like a full super dev on the coin or something. I'm not going to sit here and fork the network every 5 minutes and be like, oh, I need this network to be forked for it to work my way. I'm just like some dude that came a year after the project, and then I took over leadership over it, and it's been about 2 years. So with that said, to get on these exchanges and all of those things, all I have to do is not screw it up, not really touch it. And with that would be more likely to happen if we had the funding or the capital to get there.
But it's good, it's stable. It's you got your niche, and your project is growing, so it has a use case. So, like you say, right? If you keep building in the bear market, and especially in this bear market, it's quite brutal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you're still building and going on, and that you're having sort of a focus and a goal, right? That is really positive.
Yeah, every day we focus on what's next, and that's the biggest thing that we can do is keep these deadlines, keep these meetings, get these pitch decks out, make all this content. I mean, thumbnails. I actually branded ASAP on the Foxy network when we met them about a year and a half ago, and ASAP didn't even have a logo. And I kind of consulted them, and I'm like, hey, don't you want people to know who you are? And since then, like, boom, like they have a new logo. It's all blown up. We've just made them 100. Well, now it's maybe like 45 thumbnails for Castify because they're getting their own web app now because they're growing. And that's what we love to see, is that the people that we've brought on are doing their own thing too. We're not jealous that they're on the same platform. We love that because they weren't even on a platform when we met them. And together we're all growing, and it's been quite an adventure. I did write down a list too of the stuff that we did, but I apparently lost it.
Well, this might also be a nice segue to announce that BitcoinLive is also going to move to FoxDNetwork. So we're proud to announce to become part of the family.
Yes.
I might have to do a little bit of research before coming on, but I think we'll manage. And this month or otherwise next month we'll be live on there, or upload it up there. Doesn't matter. We'll be there and be part of FoxDNetwork. So another platform that we're on. So that's really
perfect.
cool.
I appreciate that so much. Let me tell you the benefit that you have now that you've brought it up, that you get for going and being a part of FoxDNetwork. And that is that all of your videos that you choose, because we use the Vimeo account as well, it becomes access to pretty much our content partners like yourself. And if you choose, what we can do is make your stuff public domain on Vimeo, and it would take specific episodes that you were trying to just market your brand or your show, and it would just open it up more to the public that they can use it for their own content. And they would then look at you the whole time they're editing their video before they put the content out any which way they'd like.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Because we actually do want to reach a broader audience. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're getting on all these different platforms. The other reason is, of course, to sort of spread and diversify your content. So we also really like decentralized platforms like yours. So it's sort of like a win-win-win situation in our view. And yeah, we love to be part of Foxy
I'm
Network.
so excited. I appreciate it. I'm like jumping out of the bag right now. We're super stoked to have, especially Bitcoin Live. I mean, it's excellent content. I love your content, so we'll be happy to have it on there. So for sure, because the crypto section, like, yeah, definitely 100%.
Yeah. Maybe nice to highlight a little bit about Bitcoin Live right now. I'll keep it short.
Here,
But
let
we
me get
got
the orange.
like different shows, and one is Bitcoin is freedom, one is Bitcoin in politics, one is gingerly, and one is 3D changes perspectives. And this is Bitcoin Live interviews that we do regularly. So there's basically 5 shows, and we'll try also to expand on it. So we're planning on doing more different shows. And we've grown a long way, like you guys. We've been at it for over 4 years now. I sort of lost count. Been through a couple of bear markets, been through a couple of bull markets, and we're still around. So and kicking it. So yeah, I love to be part of the team, and anything that we can do to sort of grow your network, that is like another win-win.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that. We'll definitely be blasting you all over Discord and Twitter, especially when this video comes out. This has been an excellent interview, I believe, that you've been hosting. So I appreciate your time as well, especially with the whole tug of war trying to get the interview on. We did manage to get it. So it's been a long week, but it's definitely worth it on Sunday today to have this with you. And again, I really appreciate your time.
Oh yeah, no, and it's mutual, right? And I totally understand that also, right? I mean, I think you said you manage like 28 different accounts, right? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to even think about managing 28 accounts, right?
Yeah, pretty full of Twitter. Maybe sometimes I miss the message on there. So sorry about last week. But you're all waiting to see this. Sorry, I missed you. So
finally, we build up to the moment. So this is finally it arrived, and it's better than expected. So now I really look forward to this interview, and I'm really enjoying it. And we really wanted also to do this announcement of being on Foxy Network, and learning from you that you where you want to take it, and all the sort of use cases of the platform. And I can totally see the potential for Foxy in the future, right?
I think so for sure. I'm not stopping anytime. I mean, my personal I just have 100% fire for this project, and I will keep going, and nothing will stop me. And when I am gone, or if I ever am gone, the project will continue without me.
Yeah, well, and that's the spirit of the open source, free, decentralized ethos, right? I mean that's basically the Bitcoin ethos in crypto. Because I love Bitcoin, but I also love other cryptos. I'm not a maxi in that case.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not either, but that's kind of been the framework in my mind as far as FoxDNetwork. I didn't even make it And the idea that was with the coin with me that I find so special that I will say out loud is that I'm kind of, I don't like to say it, I'm forcing decentralization. So by forcing decentralization, like I'm just giving tons of people the coin. I have the bot, like, and it rains. Then there's the game show. And when you check the rich list, you can see what effects that has caused to that. It's not just all in one wallet. And it is really decentralized from in every day like that. The pie chart looks more and more good in my opinion. That's just like the way I wanted to see it.
Well, this is because I sort of chose the topic for why decentralized broadcasting matters, and so one of the reasons why we are sort of on all these different platforms is to diversify. If we got hit, you're on these different platforms, and also of course to increase exposure. And we were banned on YouTube, and then you sort of notice how bad centralization is, and if you got all your eggs in one basket, you lose everything. And how we got banned was really totally ridiculous. I won't go into that again, but then you sort of notice, okay, we have to spread our content wide to reach new public, but also to spread your risk. And we especially love decentralized platforms like yours, right? In order to sort of stimulate those by creating content on them, but also to even more secure your risk, right? If you're on a decentralized platform, then your content stays safe even if something happens, right? Or if you make something that people don't like. Not that we do, but some people don't like anything. So what is your sort of philosophy of decentralized broadcasting? How do you see that?
Decentralized broadcasting is special in its own ways. We still have a little control over what gets broadcasted throughout our own platform itself. The general idea of IPFS content is that, like you're saying, oh, if all of our eggs are in one basket, like all the videos are on my computer, and if my computer goes down, where are all the videos? Now they're all gone, right? But with IPFS, if we have 5 computers that all are sharing this file, there's no way the file is ever going to totally disappear if it's on 5 of them. And then B, that will always save a copy of it. And then what it makes is a system. So if someone knocks on your door and says, hey, you need to take that off of your computer because that's showing something that the government is not allowing you to show because that's threatening our government or whatever they say, or whatever the point is. Not to say you should threaten our government or anything, but the point is that their opinion of whether it's good or not doesn't matter. It's going to be on the blockchain, or in our case, IPFS, permanently. And that's good and it's bad, but so is everything. It has its own reasons for why it's good, and it has its own reasons as though the pen can write or stab you in the eyeball. So you have to be responsible in the technology that you're getting into and understand that what you're putting on there is permanent. And if you're putting like things that could harm other people, that could go onto the chain too. But we're trying to create a community and an infrastructure that we're not looking at it like that. We're trying to bring people in that want to do good things with technology, and just like anybody could do something bad. But the point is that they can't take it away from us, and they can't tell us that it's not to be seen because they don't approve of it.
No, I totally agree. And then also, just in case there's like an emergency or an accident, right? You can also lose servers that way. So, to spread those out is, just smart. But do you also see, like, looking forward into the future, like in 10, 20 years, that's long, long into the future. But do you also think like the broadcasting itself might completely decentralize? Or do you think there will always be decentralized broadcasting and centralized broadcasting, or intermix? Or how do you see that?
I feel as though there will always be like a YouTuber or like somebody like a company like YouTube. But what you're asking is going to be, in the long run, more and more will use these decentralized methods just because they're safer or because they're less cost to them once they learn how to do it. And where we're at is we're the developers creating it, and they're the ones that need it. So, the difference is as a developer, like from somebody that's 100% fire on the project, like I'm going to keep working on it because this is what I believe in and this is what I want to work and happen. These people are developers that come and show up, they go coin to coin or they go project to project. And what happens is if, let's say, a big company wants to have this technology, well, they can't really hire a freelancer. That's just not how a freelancer works, but a freelancer knows how to make it. So it's just going to be a lot slower for those companies to do what they want to do for the money when people like us are doing it because we want to build from scratch and put the fire behind the IPFS and put the fire behind the video. And
But do you also think, like, once you really take off, right? Once it becomes so big, like let's say, FoxDNetwork becomes as big as Fox Network. Do you think, your network will actually sort of overshadow the centralized media because, there will be much more interesting content being made on your platforms than on centralized versions of it?
That's a good question. I do believe that our platform will continue to build and start taking a front seat. I wouldn't necessarily point at a company like 21st Century Fox based on our name or anything, but they're on their own problems, and we don't want to punch up at them right now. Anyways, we don't want to fight with them. So
Understand. Yeah.
with I mean, the point is that with competition and stuff, if we keep doing what we're doing and we keep getting these little wins every single day, if our competition isn't getting little wins every single day, then we are way ahead of them every single day. So our competition is burning money and throwing it into the buckets and then the fires and watching their money burn in front of them. And then they're like, oh, look what they're doing. And then they want to come to us. So that's our benefit to say, we have this technology, but you need to pay for it because we're developing it. And if you want your company to be successful and run on new technology, then now you need to pay FoxDNetwork and its employees to bring you the technology that requires you to save that capital.
Yeah, because that's basically also what Jeff Booth, for example, says with Bitcoin, right? That the legacy system is sort of breaking down around us. And even though Bitcoin looks kind of cumbersome and superfluous, and to some people, unnecessary, basically it's like the platform for the future, right? So and eventually it will actually be cheaper, much cheaper than the legacy system itself. Actually, it is already much cheaper than the legacy system.
Yes,
but
it is.
Clouded and obscured from view because of because people look outside the window and everything seems okay. But the cost is really heavy to keep the legacy system churning while the Bitcoin system goes automatically. So do you also think, with talking about the company, because some people say, like, you can also do this stuff centralized, right? And it's much cheaper and much faster, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at that slightly differently, you can also say, decentralized is perhaps much cheaper and perhaps in the future also much faster.
From where we are, we started as Roku developers. So we have the ins of that already, of the centralized system. So we are still using a lot of centralized aspects and YouTubes and Vimeos and VI Louds and this and that to make happen what we're trying. However, in the background, it's kind of more like a DTube. So our, DTube and yeah, of course. Okay. So with DTube, that's basically what we're building, but we're doing it from scratch our own way with our own partners and our own media. And a lot of the things that DTube couldn't get that we can get, or like our competition, if DTube were even our competition rather than our partners, because in my opinion, they made it open source. So they're a partner in what we're trying to do. But the point I was trying to make is that, we, with what we're doing, if DTube were our competition, we're getting real partners like the MLIS to give us their content to broadcast to make money, and ASAPs and belly ups and NFLAs and FBAs and all of our content partners and Bitcoin Live now, right? So we are accumulating content because people see our drive, that we're not just sitting around, but we're actually building and we're taking your content and we're putting it out there on these platforms. and we're not just some landing page for some ICO that we get out there, we get the job done, we work till 4 in the morning, wake up at 6, and then we keep going. And some days are better than others, but every day with those little wins is putting us where we are today. And today we are way ahead of where we were a year ago. So we're killing it.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for you guys, and I think you guys are doing a great job for the community, and for the broader crypto space community, also for building these platforms that keeps content safe, because there's a lot of censorship. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how much censorship there is. And sometimes there's some good news. I consider Elon Musk good news because Twitter was horrible.
Yeah, it was. You couldn't even comment on his status without getting banned.
Now it's a circus, but at least it's a free circus. And I think platforms like yours are definitely worth it, and worth a lot of value going forward, right? Because for content makers like us, we might have to move eventually, even completely to these kind of platforms in order to make content.
Absolutely. And by the time that it happens where more and more people need to, we'll be better and better and be able to do a direct live stream through IPFS 100% of the time and have everybody watching it all see the same thing and things like that. And ideally, if we had the nodes network set up correctly, they could watch your channel in Antarctica, and the same person watching it in Antarctica would see the same thing in Asia, or let's say South Korea. That would be just the same because of these node networks. And with cloud systems these days, that's super easy to get the host closer to you.
Yeah, that's super exciting, and I can't wait for that day. And I think that's also maybe important to notice. One of the other reasons that we also sort of started exploring decentralized media is also the first mover advantage, right? If you're like one of the first content makers on there, and we're not, but the sooner you get on these platforms, and you're sort of growing with the platform and also benefiting from that growth, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how ASAP and Belly Up have felt. I love talking about our content partners too, because I manage so many different ones. But ASAP started, like I said, before the logo, and now they're on Castify themselves. And Castify is a huge content partner, and so is Tiki Live. And Tiki Live is we're really close. I have a personal NDA with Tiki Live from over a year ago that we've had in meetings, and there's just so much that you would probably not see in the front that is just like, if you looked at the logs, you'd be like, wow, there's a lot. Yeah, thanks. You brought up a lot of these content partners. Particularly CX Sports hasn't been mentioned yet in the AAL. The AAL is it's a partnership with ASAP, and then CX Sports was Rugby, the Charlotte Rugby, and they are one of the top channels on our network as well.
Wow, that's really cool. And do you have any other partners coming up that you're working on that you might sort of want to reveal, or maybe can reveal? Or
to my understanding, I can't say any specifics, but from what I know is that we have partners with media companies that have a lot of people that need their content on IPFS, and a lot. I would say over 2,000 like channels that could be made, or in the chat, in the work. It does boil down to premium content, which is very important and hasn't been mentioned. Premium content is that content which you pay for to put on your platform. So you need licensing, as which FoxDNetwork comes in, because you can license your content because of the NFT. So it all is wrapping together.
I see. And there was a question which just flashed through my mind and I lost it. But I think we had a really awesome interview. And
great. I want to share my screen real quick and go just down the Foxy Castify dev real quick.
Oh, I remember what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
where can people find you? Because you have like a Twitter account, of course, but I think you're also on Discord. How can people best reach you and get into contact with FoxDNetwork?
FoxDNetwork, if you want to email us, it's FoxDNetwork foxdcoin.com, FoxDNetwork@gmail.com, FoxD.network, the website. And you can go to FoxDcoin.com. And now all the Foxy Network stuff has been baked into the FoxDcoin website as well. I did revamp the FoxDcoin website myself a little bit just to make the background different, but to incorporate FoxD network into the actual website as well.
Yeah. And of course, you're also doing Party Full of Fools, right?
I am. I am going to have the game show back. I don't want to make any dead promises on it right now, but I want to say probably at the beginning of the year, sometime in the second week or third week. But it's going to be revamped, so it's all going to be branded and it's going to look great. You could find us on Twitter at Party Full of Fools, you know, things like that as well, if you wanted to go find us there.
Yeah. And Party Full of Fools, just for the people who don't know, you can win amazing prizes on their NFTs, but also a lot of crypto, Digibyte, like we said, but also FoxD coin and Raven coin, and I think also some other coins. I don't remember them all from the top of my head, but you know, you can win a lot of cool prizes, and you got this wheel of fortune that you spin. So that's like really old school, but really.
Yeah, they're still right here, actually. You know, since you're gonna bring them up, you know, I haven't brought them out in a while, but the wheels still exist, so it's not like they're gone. So it will be coming. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Cool. I just want to give a bunch of shout outs because I didn't get a chance to last time when I was on here, but like we have the Y Whales channel, which wasn't brought up, Crypto Crow.
Cool.
Which is a good channel. This is our new MLIS, which is the Indoor Soccer League, which is one of our best channels right now. You can see our interview here. Virtual Reload was a Party Full of Fools partner and still is, and On Planet Mars is still on there. These are all the Heath interviews from Foxy Network. And that's this guy here, JB, is a personal friend of mine I've known my whole life. And he was in this interview with David Essel.
Wow.
And I highly recommend this interview because it talks about addictions. And it's really an interesting interview.
Yeah, you know, social media addiction is one of those addictions that people in crypto might suffer from.
Lastly, we got Flavors of New York here. Was one of these bigger content partners that we're really grateful for. I want to swing into the FoxDcoin Discord real quick and see. I want to give. I can't even see the members anymore. Here they are. Death Mumi is one of our newest members in the Discord that's been doing a lot of work with the back end of the development in the coin. So I wanted to shout out him if he sees this. So thank you for being one of the lead developers that joined. You're awesome. So that'll be good.
Well, you know, with that, we can sort of wrap it up. You know, I really enjoyed this conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm happy to be on board. So I'm going to explore FoxDNetwork. Of course, I'm also going to have some vacation with Christmas and cool off from the bear market and, you know, just forget about it and focus on myself. But yeah, I want to wish you all the best and your crew.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining the network. Thanks.
And you know, is there anything that you want to share that we sort of have missed that you want to highlight?
Now, just like when this is done, just upload it to me and I'll put it right on the network, and we can watch it all tonight or tomorrow or the next few days on the TV.
Awesome. I really look forward to that, and I'll get my Vimeo account to load it up to you. So that will be really awesome. And people, check out Foxy Network. They're on Twitter. I'm mostly active on Twitter, so that's sort of the place where I, if you want to reach me. But if you want to reach Foxy Network, go check out their Discord. Go check out their Twitter. Go check out their websites. I linked them in the chat. So it should be on Twitch and on Facebook and on YouTube. And soon on Foxy Network. So I want to thank you a lot for being on the show, and let's do this again soon.
Yep, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. I hope you have a good night, and we'll definitely have to be back on here again with Joe so we can give you some of the little more details that I wasn't allowed to tell you, you know? So.
Okay, yeah, we're going to do this again.
All right,
Real
sounds
quick.
good with me, man. I hope you have a good night. All right.